Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. The Glazers are ready to sell Manchester United. After the European Super League failure. The Glazers have set the price to sell the club. They want a fee in the region of £4 billion. Now recently, Manchester United fans protested against the Glazers at Carrington, and our fans blocked entries into the Carrington training ground. Solskjaer has come out and defended the Glazers. He told protesters that Joe Glazer loves the club. There was banners saying MUFC 20, 51% and the Glazers out. Now the Glazers recently said sorry. Joe Glazer released a statement and apologised to Manchester United fans over the European Super League plans. The Glazers have been at Manchester United for like 16 years now. They've been with us since 2005. Who will Manchester United's new owners be to replace the Glazers? Before, there was talks of the Saudi Arabians taking over. But I hate the way that the football club has been run. Now, I want to delve into some transfer news. So, Manchester United have been handed a boost in the pursuit of Raphael Varane, because Real Madrid are closing in on David Alaba. Now, reports from Spain said not so long ago that Man United were in advanced talks with Raphael Varane, and it said Raphael Varane to Man United is close. He said Real Madrid are demanding £60 million, but it said we hope to lower Real Madrid's £60 million asking price. Now, not so long ago, he said we face competition for Raphael Varane because Christian Falk Bild said that Chelsea have entered the race for Raphael Varane. So reflecting on that, he said Chelsea are looking to hijack our move. He says some clubs are willing to wait until next year to get Raphael Varane because that's when he will be available on a free transfer. Raphael Varane just has over a year left on his current contract at Real Madrid. His contract talks with Real Madrid have stalled. But Raphael Varane is ready to leave Real Madrid. Now, the Spanish transfer expert Eduardo Inda said earlier on this season that Raphael Varane could be on his way to Man United in the summer. There was narratives coming out earlier on this season saying that Real Madrid are prepared to sell Raphael Varane on one condition. He must inform Real Madrid on his decision to leave. Back in 2018, we was prepared to sanction a £100 million move. But the main explanations I take Raphael Varane at Manchester United is because 1, he's a world-class centre-half. 2, he's highly experienced. He's 27 years of age. 3, he'd complement Harry Maguire in our back line. And 4, he's got a good pedigree as a player because he's won 18 major honours at Real Madrid. So they're the reasons. He's made over 300 appearances for Real Madrid. Real Madrid paid just €10 million for him from Lens back in 2011. So there you go. Now, I want to delve into some news on Cristiano Ronaldo. So according to the Italian outlet Gazzetta dello Sport, Manchester United make contact with Cristiano Ronaldo's agent over a return this summer. Juventus are demanding just £26 million. Cristiano Ronaldo will have to cut his £27 million a year salary in half if he's to rejoin Man United. I presume a lot of United fans would take Cristiano Ronaldo back at the football club. Now, Italian reports said a few weeks ago that there could be a swap deal involving Cristiano Ronaldo and Paul Pogba. Cristiano Ronaldo did endure 6 years with Manchester United. In his 6 years he had with us, he won 3 Premier League titles, he won the Champions League, he won the FA Cup, won the League Cup, also won the FIFA Club World Cup. We did pay just £12 million for him from Sporting Lisbon. In 2009, we sold him to Real Madrid for £80 million. He endured like 9 or 10 years with Real Madrid. And then obviously back in 2018, Juventus got him for £100 million. Done quite well at Juventus, but he's now unhappy. His contract with Juventus expires next year. Cristiano Ronaldo is regarded as one of the best players in the world. He's won 5 Ballon d'Ors and he's won 31 major trophies in his playing career. Ronaldo is the age of 36 now, I think. Now, Edinson Cavani and Alex Telles are set to leave Manchester United in the summer. Edinson Cavani recently had a meeting with Manchester United and he's asked to leave Manchester United for Boca Juniors. Now, Footballer Insider said earlier on this season that Cavani is willing to take a pay cut to join Boca Juniors. He said he's already got a verbal agreement with them, and he also mentioned earlier on this season that Boca Juniors are willing to offer him a 3-year contract. Now, earlier on this season, Solskjaer did say that Cavani was closer to Boca Juniors than staying at Manchester United. And prior to that, Cavani's father came out and said that Cavani is unhappy. He doesn't feel comfortable in England and he wants to leave. And prior to that, reports from Argentina said that Cavani has decided to leave after 1 season. Earlier on this season were held showdown talks with Edinson Cavani over his future at the club. He recently said, not so long ago, that we'd been handed a boost in our attempt to keep hold of Edinson Cavani because the Uruguay manager advised Edinson Cavani to stay in Europe. Prior to the game against Tottenham, Solskjaer said he was unsure over Cavani's future. But I'll be disappointed if he leaves, because I want him to stay for next season, and I presume a lot of Man United fans would like him to stay for next season. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants him to stay. Edinson Cavani's current contract expires at the end of the season. He has an option to trigger his contract for a further year. But he has made a fantastic impact since he's come in as Cavani. You know, in a lot of his games, his hold-up play has been good. His movement in and out of the box has been good. And he's scored very good goals. But there's been some games where he hasn't got enough service and he's looked isolated. He's got a good pedigree as a player, as Edinson Cavani. You know, he did very, very well at PSG. He was a long-serving player at PSG. Alex Telles, he's decided that he wants to leave Manchester United. According to Calcio Mercato, Juventus are interested in him, and Juventus are willing to offer Adrien Rabiot as part of a swap deal. Now, Alex Telles has played nowhere near as much as I expected. When we got Telles last summer, I expected him to be our first choice left back. But obviously Luke Shaw remains our first choice left back. But in some of the games Telles has played in, I think he's done very, very well. You know, he's got forward well, he's got in some good positions, he can cross the ball well, and defensively he can be good. We got him in a deal with, 15.4 million from Porto. That's with add-ons included. Earlier on this season, there was talks about Alex Telles and Nuno Mendes swap deal. But yeah, that's it. And there's a lot of players that Manchester United are looking at. You already know the news on Erling Haaland from Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund's sporting director, Michael Zorg, is adamant that Erling Haaland will be at Borussia Dortmund next season. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has already warned Man United over the Erling Haaland transfer. I said earlier on this season that Haaland leaving Dortmund is looking extremely likely following Dortmund's exit to Man City in the Champions League. Said the other week that Man United were relying on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's close bond with Haaland to secure the signing of the player. The Express said not so long ago that we was worried over the Erling Haaland transfer pursuit because of Jadon Sancho. Mini Oriola, his agent, said he wanted to make Haaland the first ever £1 million a week player. Mini Oriola and Alf-Inch Haaland, Erling Haaland's father, have already been to England for talks with several Premier League clubs. They've also held talks with Barcelona and Real Madrid. He said earlier on this season that we declined to meet Mini Oriola over discussing a possible deal for Haaland. Now, The Athletic said that Dortmund are demanding 150 million. It says that we are one of the clubs that can afford him. But earlier on this season, it said Haaland to Man United was off anyway following Mini Oriola's roadshow. Now, the main explanations I take Haaland at Manchester United is because, one, he knows Ole Gunnar Solskjaer well. Solskjaer gave Haaland his debut at just the age of 16 at Molde, so it'd be good to see Ole reunite with a player. Two, he would assure his goals, and three, he's still young and he's got a lot of development in him. And I do think he would exceed expectations in the Premier League, so replicate what he's been doing at Borussia Dortmund. Narrative said a few weeks ago that Solskjaer kept calling Haaland to persuade him to join Manchester United, because he said earlier on this season that Solskjaer was following Erling Haaland's progress and keeping in touch with the player. And back in December 2019, Solskjaer and Woodward went to Norway to meet up with Haaland to negotiate a possible move to Man United. Solskjaer did reveal earlier on this season how impressed he was with Erling Haaland's training at Mulder, but he made an admission saying he struggled with bad knees when he was at Mulder. Haaland has a £68 million release clause, but it doesn't become active until next year. He's under contract with Dortmund till 2024. Dortmund got him for next to nothing. They paid just £17 million for him from Red Bull Salzburg. We looked at a few strikers, haven't we? I said I'd take Dominic Calvert-Lewin at Man United. He's a good striker and he's done very, very well at Everton and he's Premier League proven, of course. Obviously, not so long ago, there was a lot of narratives coming out regarding Harry Kane from Tottenham. It says Harry Kane will ask to leave Tottenham at the end of the season if Tottenham fail to qualify for the Champions League. He said Harry Kane wants to stay in the Premier League if he decides to leave Tottenham. Says the other week that PSG were looking to beat us and City to the signing of Kane. We're going to have to make an offer of at least 120 million to convince Tottenham to offload him. But in the summer transfer window, I'm expecting Manchester United to make around 3 or 4 signings. We may even make 5 signings. And I've identified the areas where Man United need to strengthen up. We need a striker, we need a right winger, we need a defensive midfielder, and we also need a centre-half. Now, earlier on this season, it said that Man United will spend big in the summer transfer window. But Solskjaer did mention that he wants to keep transfer dealings quiet. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is aware of how big the summer transfer window is for him and Manchester United in general. I can assure that Solskjaer will be Man United manager in the summer transfer window, and he'll be Man United manager next season, because we've already made it clear that Solskjaer will not be sacked even if we fail to win the Europa League. The Europa League is our only chance of any silverware this season. And Solskjaer knows how imperative it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager. We haven't won a trophy since 2017. So if we fail to win the Europa League this season, that'd be exactly 4 years without a trophy. We've got a good chance of winning it though. We are into the semi-finals of the Europa League. It's 5 semi-finals in total under Ole. We do play Roma in the semi-finals and we are aware of how much of a tough game that's going to be. Not so long ago, Solskjaer spoke about Man United facing Roma in the semi-finals, and he said that Edin Dzeko will pose the biggest threat to Manchester United. Roma have got Mkhitaryan and Chris Smalling. I presume they'll be reuniting with the club. But I've said, Solskjaer does deserve at least another season at Man United because progress has been made. I can assure we'll finish in the top 4 in the league this season. We'll probably finish second. Obviously, Man City are going to win the league. They're 11 points in front of us. But Solskjaer recently said we will never ever give up on the Premier League title. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so that's 8 years ago now. But Solskjaer in the summer transfer window should get the backing he deserves. Because obviously we've got John Murtough, he's our director of football. And we've got Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director. so far Solskjaer's not been backed enough by Manchester United. And in that aspect, the blame stems from the board. But like I've said to you so many times, the board's been one of the biggest problems at the club for a while, reflecting how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've also overpaid for players, and in general, the managers that I've had since Ferguson retired haven't got the players that they wanted to recommend in. Quite a few players are going to leave Manchester United in the summer transfer window. We could sell David De Gea in the summer transfer window. A lot of United fans think it would be a mistake to let De Gea go. I don't think it would be, because I reckon now David De Gea has had his years at Manchester United. You know, he's been at the club 10 years now. And I reckon De Gea's had 8 good years out of the 10 years he's been here, because in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he's made. But certainly a few years ago he was regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world. De Gea has won everything domestically at the football club, and he's made over 500 appearances for Man United in all competitions. Now, earlier on this season it said that Man United may loan De Gea out instead of letting him go permanently. Prior to that, it said De Gea had made his transfer decision, and it said he's preparing to leave Manchester United, and it said we're set to pay off his huge contract. Said we set the price for De Gea, it's £50 million. We'll certainly get a lot more than what we paid for him. De Gea has like 2 years left on his current contract. He's on £375,000 a week, which is a substantial amount. I said there's a very, very good chance he'll go back to Spain. But I reckon now Dean Henderson's our number one, because Dean Henderson's been in goal a lot recently. And we've made the right decision putting him as number one, because I said he's reliable enough to become our number one. I reckon Henderson's better than De Gea now anyway. Phil Jones, I think we should offload him, because he's always been inconsistent. Plus, he doesn't get in the team now, and plus he's been out of injury for over a year. Phil Jones is the only outfield player that's still here from the Ferguson era. This is Phil Jones' 10th season at Manchester United, so he's been a long servant. Diego Dalot, I think we'll be looking to get rid of him permanently. You know, he's out on loan with AC Milan at the moment. Paul Pogba, he could still leave Man United in the summer transfer window. But there again, he could stay potentially past the summer. I want Paul Pogba to stay potentially past the summer, because he does bring creativity to the team. We've been getting the best out of him in recent months. His performances have been very, very good. Recently, we've been putting Paul Pogba in more of an advanced role. I think we need to keep him in that advanced role, because that's where he's more effective. I'm not too keen on him in a deeper role. Quite a few times before we've played him in that deeper role. Don't forget, earlier on this season, Pogba had a thigh injury, and at the first part of this season he had an ankle injury, and he was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. So he's sustained a few injuries now at Man United. Pogba's our most expensive signing at the moment, because we paid £89 million for him, and this is his fifth season at the football club since he rejoined. Wait there a second. Just wait there a second. Sorry about that, guys. I was just looking to see who was at the door. It was just the mail. So anyway, yeah, like I said, most expensive sign at the moment, and this is 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. Pogba's had a long-running transfer saga. He's been relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. PSG have been in for him. Barcelona have been in for him, and his former club Juventus have been in for him. I said there's a very good chance he'll go back to Juventus if he leaves Manchester United, because he did enjoy 4 good years with them before, he rejoined. And swap deals, have been high on the agenda. Now, earlier on this season, Solskjaer said Paul Pogba's future lies at Old Trafford and he hopes he stays and signs a new contract. Now, he recently said Pogba's demanding £500,000 a week to sign a new contract at Man United. I'm very sceptical we'll be able to meet these demands, but if we was to meet his demands, then it'd take his overall earnings close to £800,000 a week. Now, earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so he's under contract with the club until June 2022. Paul Pogba insists he's happy at Man United though. He recently criticised Jose Mourinho because he did have an exclusive interview with Sky. He says Jose Mourinho went against the players. And he said Solskjaer is different, so reflecting on that, Pogba's 100% Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in. Jose Mourinho hit back at his comments and he said he doesn't care less what Paul Pogba had to say. Not so long ago, Jose Mourinho got sacked from Tottenham. Mino Raiola's obviously been desperate to get Paul Pogba out of the football club. I think there's a good chance we'll offload Nemanja Matic in the summer transfer window as well, because he isn't one of our first choice midfielders and he's always been inconsistent more or less. Analysing the vast majority of his games at Man United, he's been poor, but there's been some games where he's showed consistency. I think the club made a mistake giving him that new 3-year contract before the start of this season. I've always had my strong reservations about Matic because he's always been a slow player. We got him in a deal worth 40 million from Chelsea. I think we should offload Donny van der Beek because he's not getting enough opportunities at Manchester United. Earlier on this season, it said Man United were considering a Donny van der Beek swap deal. There was talks of a Donny van der Beek and Adrian Rabiot swap deal. Juan Mata, I think we'll look to offload him because he doesn't get in our 11. And like I said, it looks like Cavani's leaving and there's rumours of Telles leaving the club. Could we loan Brandon Williams out because he's our 3rd choice left back? And he doesn't get in the team now, does he? So there you go. But there's a lot of players that will stay at Man United in the summer transfer window, and I reckon there's quite a few players that have got long-term futures at the club. But like I've said, in regards to Solskjaer, he's not the long-term manager for Man United, but I hope I'm proven wrong. But he is our best manager since Ferguson. He's our 4th permanent manager since Ferguson. A lot of Manchester United fans have criticised Solskjaer and they've obviously been demanding him out of the club. They've obviously got main explanations why they've been demanding him out of the club. But I presume there's still a lot of Man United fans that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in and they believe that he needs more time. Obviously our board must think he's the long-term manager for Man United because it said earlier on this season that Solskjaer agreed a new 3-year contract worth 30 million. Solskjaer's still got like a year left on his current 3-year contract. And Woodward said earlier on this season that he believes Solskjaer is the right man to lead the club forward. He released a statement earlier on this season saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. So in that aspect, Woodward is backing Solskjaer, and Woodward showed his support for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer several times, even when we was enduring them really, really bad periods. As you all know, it got announced a few days ago that Ed Woodward resigned as Manchester United Vice Chairman. It did initially say that he'll stand down at the end of this year, But now it's saying that Woodward is expected to leave in the summer rather than the end of the year. Woodward's had a 16-year association with the club. I presume all United fans were delighted with the news saying that Woodward has decided to resign, because we've been critical of Woodward for a long time. So anyway guys, on my next video I'll be giving you my starting 11 prediction for the Leeds Man United game. And then my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference will also be coming up as well. So anyway guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.